right, today I'd like to welcome to the show Pride and Joy of Port Credit, Ontario, Sean Pinchin.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
My pleasure. Yeah.
Fantastic. So earlier this year, you released this is your sixth album?
Yes.
Sixth album called Monkey Brain.
Yes, it is.
And judging by your website, you are probably one of the busiest musicians that I've seen in a long time.
Had a really good couple of years. I quit my day job 3 years ago, and I was playing kind of full-time, part-time while working, and it was really angering my employers and my staff, my fellow staff mates and all that stuff. So I took the plunge, and it was a little difficult, but now, I think I'm clearing 200 shows a year easily now. So
200
I did 100 in the summer, I think, just in the 3 months.
So a lot of
3
that
or
was
4
promoting
months,
this new album?
Yeah, 4 months I'd say I do 100, about 25 a month I did. Just promoting that and playing like shows to, pay my mortgage, help pay for the record. My goal once I release something is to try and get as much of the debt out of the way so that you recoup money, because, you spend 75% of something and you make 25% back. It always seems like you're losing until you're no longer paying for it. So
yeah,
I'm already planning on the next record for 2018. So like my mind's got to be there financially, or else, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So this album, would you say that this album is the most personal of all the albums that you've put out?
Probably, yeah. I wrote it with Rob Zabo. I co-wrote every tune on it, which I didn't do on the other album, Rust Bucket, the last one he produced with me. I actually wrote 4 of those tunes myself. And it was cool to kind of dip my toes in the songwriter pond, but with this one it was kind of like I gave some ideas, I gave some references, I told him what I was going for, and I didn't know how to get it. So the two of us would kind of work together, basically cutting shapes out of cardboard paper, just like, what's this design? And we had a song and another song, and then the next thing you know, we had a record. And it could have been a little longer, I thought. The two of us wanted to go for 10 songs, but we really focused on those 8, and we borrowed a song even from Steve Strongman's repertoire. So I feel like we really dug a little deeper into what I've been dealing with for the last few years, because Rob's known me now a while, and he's seen my ups and downs. And so I think we focused more on that being the theme, how to be myself, but still have somebody else help me do it. So I think it's important to share the writing, because, I don't think I have it in me to do it by myself all the time. Right. I'd sit there and play guitar and never get anything done. It's basically what happens.
Right.
Rob stops me from playing every now and then and goes, "So what are we doing?" And I'm like, got this new Hendrix tune I'm working on now.
So the name of the album, Monkey Brain, can you explain to the audience kind of where that name came from?
I've been seeing the Musicians Clinic of Canada for, I guess, like anxiety and stress. But I started developing pains in my hands when I was 18, working in a bakery. And I had just graduated school. I was like 18, 19. I think it was 19. And I was scooping cookies, 6 a.m. till 2 in the afternoon. And I hated that job. And I did a lousy job at it. And I was late. And it was just a stressful time in my life. But I was playing guitar every night. And I was going to open mics 4 nights a week to learn how to jam. So part of me was really soaking in the scene from Toronto to Meadowvale. Like, I was driving with friends everywhere to do it, every open mic. But the other half of me was not sleeping or healing or being treated, even being treated well too. Because like when you work with people that don't understand what you're doing, and it can become a very volatile relationship when people just see you look like you're slacking off. But I'd been playing till 3 in the morning and it's 6 a.m. and I'm scooping donuts. Like, you know what I mean? Like, my priorities were in check, I thought. So, and the donuts were not in my... So it just sort of, it kept going, and I developed a bit of a social anxiety, which kept developing as I got older. And this doctor that I saw, Dr. John Chong at Musicians Clinic, sort of helped me find key points in my life where I start to have it's like post-traumatic stress, basically. You start going back to an area in your life where some stress happened, and no matter what's happening currently, your body kind of goes back to that level of stress and fatigue, so you don't heal at all. You actually backtrack. Sports people go through this all the time, but musicians aren't really allowed to have this as much, or we can't really speak about it. But now we have a few doctors out there that are doing like biofeedback on you. So it found out that I had a whole history of things that I hadn't really worked on, and the best news was it wasn't my guitar, which I thought it was. I thought I couldn't play guitar anymore. Turns out I have a lot of low-line issues and stuff like that, but that's fine. I can work on those. I can play guitar, so that's pretty good. So it just sort of worked on that. So I've been called Monkey Brain from Dr. Chong for a while because he uses monkeys. I think a lot of therapists have a relationship with a monkey at some point in their education. But he's got stuffed monkeys all over the place, and he'd always refer me to the monkey brain. You know, going back to that fight or flight method of survival, where you're panic stricken, so you're either going to survive by giving everything you've got to get out of a situation, or make the situation worse by sitting in it and fuming. So the monkey brain, there it is. There's every problem that I had during that term, and monkey brain is covered by OHIP. Thank God. You know.
What's the first song that you're going to play for us today?
I'm gonna play Monsters.
Okay.
A song about an it's kind of like an anti-anxiety tune, like afraid of monsters in my head. Sometimes they wake up. I'm always tiptoeing around them to make sure that they're sleeping. Louis C.K. has a really good thing about why people text. It's because you get sad, and then you pick up your phone, and then it gets rid of your sadness for a few minutes, and then you're back to being in the middle. And you start to get sad again. So you look up your phone, and it's that whole process of just feel like shit for a minute, you know, just feel sad for a minute. So Monsters is about me just trying to take on that, you know. They bring me to a dark place, so and they're not there when I take a deep breath, you know, so.
Well, I'm running for my life from these monsters in the dark. I got nowhere left to hide. I've been doomed from the start, yeah. What am I to do now? Chasing after me, yeah. Take me to a dark place, baby, just leave me be, yeah. Well, I feel like I'm losing all I'm losing my mind, yeah. Well, you treat me like I'm wasting all. Am I wasting all your time? What am I to do now? Chasing after me, lead me to a dark place, baby, just leave me be, yeah. What am I to do now? Yeah. Chasing after me, lead me to a dark place, baby, just leave me be, yeah. Lead me to a dark place, baby, just leave me be, yeah. Leave me be, yeah. Leave me, yeah. Leave me be, yeah. Yeah.
So how do you balance playing 200 shows a year with the self-care that you obviously recognize that you have to give yourself as well?
Well, you know, it's actually a trade-off. When I started playing guitar, I sacrificed having a social life because I didn't know how to do both. I figured I was so insecure with my playing that I needed to hide and play and do the whole Van Halen thing where this was going to define my role as a human being. And I never really had any teachers, and I didn't really like a lot of pop music, so I found it very hard to even blossom on my own for a while. But because of that whole sacrificial sense of self, you know, like torture in a sense, where I'm like, I'm just going to stay in, I'm going to do this. As soon as it got to the point of playing 200 gigs, I was like, well, I know how to sacrifice my days to sleep. You know, if I'm not going to be playing in the day, I'm going to be playing at night. Maybe I shouldn't practice during the day. I'm going to sleep a few hours during the day. So every day now I take a nap in the afternoon with my dogs. And my girlfriend knows that, like, nothing gets in the way of that nap. I mean, it might be later in the day, but me and my dogs have a 2 or 3 hour cuddle on the couch. And that's always after I do my morning stuff and then my gig. And that's really helped my body maintain, because you're doing 3 hour drives to a gig, 4 hour show, 3 hour drive home. And then we got this new mayor that's got 24 hours of construction going everywhere. I call them ditch pigs. Hope that's not too derogatory. They have rig pigs in Alberta. We have ditch pigs in Ontario. So we're just constantly losing lanes. One lane here all the way to Stratford. So my drives are 3-4 hours longer now. And I think that's also helping people lose their minds a bit more. But learning how to sacrifice a lot of my extra time to dedicate it to what I need to do, which is driving, sleeping, surviving, and not wasting my money on anything else other than transportation and strings. You know, it kind of set me up for it, I guess. I guess I was neurotic enough. Yeah, I was neurotic enough where I was like, oh, I got this. I know how to be kind of alone. Like, I've met the woman of my dreams. I have a lot of animals, so I am very lucky. I'm blessed. I live in a house downtown in Toronto. That can be a bit... Your environment is everything. I didn't realize this. I moved out of the suburbs to find my own, and I found my own. But now there's more of us. So I think I need to move to a forest somewhere. So we'll see how the next 10 years develops. But
nice. So was it in high school that you got introduced to the blues as a genre?
Yeah. I found out about the blues through Kurt Cobain doing the Unplugged album, Nirvana Unplugged album. Kurt had committed suicide or whatever had happened to him. And then I had seen the video of his house on MTV or Much Music, and I was like, wow, a lot of people love this guy, and he died. And then they showed All Apologies, which was an acoustic song he was doing, and I was like, man, I never remember liking Nirvana. I didn't like rock music at the time. It was too edgy and stuff. I was into, like, I didn't really have a point of view. I think I had a Weird Al Yankovic tape or something like that. It was, like, not music for me at that point. It was just themes. Embarrassing stuff. And I owned a Will Smith tape at one point. It was something else. But so I where was I going on with that? I got distracted by my tape.
Nirvana.
Yeah, Nirvana. So anyways, I got my Nirvana Unplugged moment. At the end of that album, he does the Leadbelly tune, Where'd You Sleep Last Night? So like, it was all acoustic. So I started kind of falling in love with the acoustic guitar. And that was my first focus. So I started seeing people play acoustic guitar. And eventually, when you want to get into stuff that sounds great on acoustic guitar, you end up at slide guitar players playing Robert Johnson music. So I went to Sheridan Mall, which was down the street from my high school, whether I was in class or skipping class, and I would go to the Music World there, and I would just look for covers that looked interesting, and I would buy blank, Sun Seals, Robert Johnson. I bought the first 100 blues people that I ever heard of, I bought blank mindlessly just because they were available to me. I'm like, oh, there's a black guy, and I'm sitting on a chair with an arch top. I'm like, I want that guy. I need this. I need to know what this guy is. B.B. King. Yeah, I know about him, but what about this guy? You know, what about this guy? Like, I never have that moment anymore because of, you know, the decline of like that record shop experience. I don't have a record player, but something about going to like a place and having like a blues, just going, Taj Mahal, man, that's cool, and just put him in, and then he became one of my favorites. So it was one of those sort of like, at 17, I discovered that I liked blues, acoustic and music, slide. Then Big Sugar sort of happened. They had a couple hits that were rocking. I was like when I heard 500 Pounds, I was like, what is this? This is Canadian? It sounds like Zeppelin. And then I got into Zeppelin, and then Stevie Ray Vaughan, Eric Clapton. But I think the moment in my life that I would say if I credit anyone for keeping me playing would be Jimi Hendrix. I think he's probably my favorite guitar player ever. He does it all. Songwriting, everything. He was the best at it all, I think. You know. So.
What's the second song?
I was thinking about playing Goin Hobo. It was a song that was sort of begun by Steve Strongman and Rob Zabo, and then it never went anywhere. And then I was looking for something that was a little more... We needed something blues to anchor this record because we were kind of going off on a bit more of a rock thing than we'd anticipated, and I was cool with it. But we didn't want to alienate any of the hard work that Rust Bucket had generated, which is easy to do these days with all the genre hoppers. So I think when we got that tune, I finished up some lyrics. We wrote a little bit of a rockabilly solo in it, and it's just one of those things where it's like, all right, this is the glue. This will be like bringing you back a little bit. So I think that would be a good representation. Goin Hobo. It's also a great tune for people like myself that have like introverted tendencies. Hanging out without a phone in the forest. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah. I mean, I'd have other things to do, but you know.
Well, Sean is a very busy guy. If you go to his website, you will see that he does play 200 shows plus a year.
And I don't always update on time. I'm sorry, I'm a one-man operation.
But connect with him on social media. If you go to his website, you can connect with him on social media.
Absolutely.
And you'll certainly get an update on where his shows are there. I want to thank you so much
Thank you for letting me babble
coming on the show.
Oh, my pleasure.
And thank you for all the good work that you're doing to raise the awareness of mental health issues.
how it
I think
goes.
it's really great.
Well,
And pick up this album, Monkey Brain. It's a fantastic album, very insightful. And the one thing I'll leave you with is I started telling you outside was when I listened to this album at one point, I was closed my eyes and my wife came to me and she said, "You're listening very intently to this." And I said, "I am, because the way Sean is singing and the way he's playing and listening to the words, I don't have mental illness, but I almost feel like he's taking me a little bit of the way there, where I have a little bit of an understanding of what it's like."
We've all had a flat tire. We've all had that moment where, like, it's like, oh, I'm late in the grocery store line. It's this, and I need to get. It's like, yeah, that moment of like no control. I mean, that's basically it.
It's extremely powerful, and I really want to thank you for coming
Thanks,
on the
man.
show.
I appreciate it.
All right, so don't go away. Hobo's coming on its way. Have a good one, and thanks for liking and sharing.
Yeah.
And all these years I've worked my finger to the bone. And all these years passed by without a seed being sown. I gotta bail from this place. I gotta find me some space. I'm so sick of punching the clock. I had enough. I give up. I'm going hobo. I live my life on the wind. I'm going hobo, and I'm free from my sins. I'm going. And all these years moving hard and fast for so long. I said, all these years doing all you asked for so long. Baby, I'm gonna move on up the pond. I won't see me out after dawn. I'm so sick of punching the clock. I had enough. I give up. I'm going hobo. I live my life off the grid. I'm going hobo, and I'm free from my sins. I'm going hobo. When I go hobo, you won't have to ask. I live my life in a moment. I forget about my past. When I go hobo, you will see that I can live my life perfectly free. I don't need no shopping mall. I don't need a phone to call. I live way off the grid. Baby, I can't handle it. I can't handle it. I'm going hobo. Live my life off the grid. I'm going hobo. And I'm free from my sins. Live my life on the wind. I'm going hobo. Baby, I'm free as it is. I'm going hobo.
Thank you.
If you want to hear more great Canadian blues acts, go to bluestribe.ca.